Here we are sailing our way down the river Nile. Yes, you can tell by this dark water that many crocodiles and piranha lurk beneath the surface. The Nile has become much more industrialized over recent years, as you can see by the high voltage power lines and various accommodations along the shore. But rest assured that we are deep in one of the remotest of territories that this wide world has to offer. We're actually in the Indian River, making our way to Fort Pierce. We thought that we were done with this cold weather. In fact, just a couple days ago, we packed away all of our long clothes and foul weather gear and hoodies and such as that. And this north wind has brought the cold right back. For the ICW, this is about as good as it gets sailing-wise, for us at least. We don't often get an opportunity to sail down the ICW, so we will take what we can get. The other reason we want to sail is, as you may already know, we replaced the standing rigging this summer. So we're trying to just kind of, ease into sailing on this new standing rigging. Oh man. After about 10 days of nothing but motoring, it is so pleasant to just hear the sound of the water and the wind while we're cruising along. It's kind of refreshing because after 6 months in the boat yard and almost 2 weeks out here in the cold just motoring along, I almost forgot how much I like sailing. And now I remember. It is just an almost magical thing to be moving a 38,000 pound mast through the water with nothing but ropes and canvas, mast, rigging, hull, keel, engine, and all kinds of other assorted crap. But we've got some really good gear on board now. This Tigris windlass has been doing fantastic. Back there at the helm right now is our CPT autopilot getting things done. We have our Rainman water maker that we're going to be using regularly out there, and a Manta scuba compressor that we're going to be using to fill all of our dive tanks. So we're getting this boat set up pretty good. We've had it now a little over 2 years, I think, and it's taken some time to kind of get it to this point, but especially with the brand new standing rigging now, I mean, this boat is getting more and more ready for just about anything. But the one thing I would like to address, in the near future when we get a chance, is to go after the through hulls, because as far as I know, they're all original. They don't look great. I'll probably take them off and try to clean them or refurbish them as best I can, but otherwise we'll be replacing them and actually plugging up the holes from 3 of them, which will make the boat even more seaworthy. But yeah, that's kind of the next big thing on my mind. There's a couple things that kind of hamper visibility now, and that is this outboard motor that's on this mast pulpit, and also the dinghy. It has kind of reduced our forward visibility by about 20% or so, but I don't know. All in all, we've been getting by just fine. It makes it a little more difficult to spot those pesky crab pots, but so far we haven't hit anything. And this outboard motor, this arrangement here is really just for inshore and ICW kind of stuff, or light sailing days like this, but we'll likely get that strapped down at the deck somewhere before we head offshore with it. This is a new spot I came up with to store the oars for the dinghy. It's just on this kind of aft starboard rail here, strapped in to the outside underneath that solar panel. So yeah, just keeps them out of the way. These things are kind of big and awkward things to store, but that seems like a pretty good spot for them. So I've got some things on the to-do list today. We're currently in Fort Pierce, Florida, and I need to test our water maker before we head offshore and go to the Bahamas. Just want to check it out, be sure everything's working right, because if I need some parts, the time to get those parts is right now. So I'm going to get the generator fired up again. I need to fill it up with gas, and then we'll test the water maker. I need to refill our diesel tank, which means emptying the 4 full 5-gallon jugs that I have on deck into the tank, and then we'll, make a run over to the marina to top those off. And then I need to do some adjustments to our standing rigging. I've got a little too much bend in the mast, and I need to check the mast rake, meaning how far the mast is leaning backwards towards the back of the boat. So just some slight adjustments there. So yeah, essentially we're just doing some prep to be sure that we're ready to go offshore, because what we would like to do is make a run from Fort Pierce down to West Palm, and then down there we'll do one final provisioning run for groceries, wait on weather, and then we'll do the overnight to the Bahamas. Yeah, so I'm going to start working on that to-do list by starting with this generator. I like that. So in all of my gas cans, I make these little bonnets, I call them. It's just a little piece of sunbrella held on there with a bungee, but what it allows me to do is to actually crack these lids open slightly to allow them to vent, so that they don't swell up and pressurize like crazy in the heat and in the sun. And the little bonnet keeps the water out. Let's see how easy this baby's going to be to fire up. On, vents on, engine switch is on, choke is on. Oh, there we go. Just like that. All right, we'll give the Honda a few minutes to warm up before we turn on the high pressure pump. One other little thing I wanted to mention regarding our gasoline is before we leave, every time I refill these tanks with ethanol-free gas and I add a fuel stabilizer, that just gives us a good long run, before we have to start using the more iffy fuel from the marinas that is very, very likely not ethanol free, and of oftentimes kind of questionable quality concerning contaminants like water or dirt or different things like that. So yeah, starting off with ethanol free, I think it's a good thing. It's good for the equipment, It lets the gasoline keep longer. So that's how we roll. Okay, Rhonda should be good and warmed up now. So now I'm going to go into the engine room, flip on the high pressure pump. What we have to do now is let the system run for like 30 minutes to flush out all of the pickling solution that was left in the water maker for the last 6 months. So while the water maker is doing its thing, flushing out the old pickling solution, I'm going to get started on refilling our diesel tank. I have our double filter here. I've got my bottle of fuel right, a little measuring cup, my deck key, a rag, and the, what do you call this thing, my jiggle siphon. So with those tools, I will begin filling our diesel tank. Now we're about to cook up some dinner. I think we're going to grill some chicken. And this grill has not been used for a while, so let's see how difficult this thing is going to be to get fired up. Wow, first click. The old Weber has done it again. Yeah, we don't tend to use the magma grills. I know those are pretty popular for cruisers, but they don't seem to last all that long before they just become a big rusty heap, where this Weber, on the other hand, completely made out of aluminum and plastic, is nigh indestructible, at least compared to those magma grills. So we really like this thing. It's served us well so far and looks like it's going to continue to do so. Now I will say this, what the magma grills have over these Webers is that they have all the different accessories and things that make it convenient to mount them to your boat. When you go with something like this, where in my opinion this is far superior to the magmas, just because it's, again, there's nothing to corrode and rust away. The tricky part is you do have to come up with some kind of a mounting solution. So what I did here is I just made this is just a piece of wood that has fiberglass and epoxy on it, and the grill is held down by this piece of aluminum here, and then underneath I have 3 clamps from Mantis Marine clamping onto that 1-inch bar there. So that's my mounting solution, and it's worked really well for our uses. Ready for dinner?
Ready.
Looks delicious, honey.
Thank you.
What have we got here?
We have barbecue chicken, rice pilaf, and sweet peppers, onions, and zucchini.
What's going on over there, Molly? Look like you got ants in your pants. Hey, show everybody your shirt here. It's actually pretty good. Chilling with my peeps. I like it.
Thank you.
So we're about to enjoy dinner. We are right next door to Chuck's, a waterside restaurant here in Fort Pierce. I am currently unloading the cards to get started on our first video and about to enjoy a delicious dinner. Dig in.